from the Caillou Shop for your weekly Wednesday video. And today I'd like to talk to you about some different hoof applications that we can use to help with your horse's hoof health. We're coming into spring right now. Things are starting to get muddy, they're thawing, they're freezing. And so I've noticed at home with my horses that I'm having some more trouble with different hoof issues. So first I'd like to talk about some different thrush applications. Thrush is a bacterial infection that affects the bottom of your horse's hoof in the collateral sulci and then also in the central sulcus. When you get a lot of moisture in there, a lot of anaerobic activity, maybe get some soiled bedding, or your horses have been eating at the round bale feeder all year and there's a lot of manure packed, there's a manure pack that gets stuck in your horse's feet and can cause thrush. Some different treatment options that we have here at the store are the traditional copper tocks. Be careful with this, it will knock them off your hands. You also need to be careful that you don't get it on your horse's hair or on their coronary band because it might cause hair loss. This one is a copper-based one, and if you're going to apply this, you would simply tip the bottle, keep your horse's hoof kind of at an angle, and you would put it right where you're having a problem. How would you know your horse has thrush? It's usually a gunky, smelly, black, greasy mess. And generally these sulci become very deep, and that's partially from the thrush. Your horse, generally speaking, well, if you didn't treat it, they could go lame, and it could cause swelling up their legs. So it is something you'd want to take care of. More commonly, in my experience, I would say I just noticed my horses get a bit what I would call greasy. Another one you can use is Thrush Buster. I tend to like this one better than the copper tocks. I feel that it's a little easier to use. The violet gentian in it will stain your hands, but this also has iodine in it, so then the same thing, you would put it in the same spots. We have a generic version of that also here at the store called Thrush Red, and then a newer product that I'm not as familiar with but I've heard a lot of really good things about is a white lightning gel. This one's also really good to use for white line disease, which we might also see popping up again. I knew some people, and I have a mare at home right now that also has a little bit of it. With how damp and wet it's been, it's really probably an environmental thing and stress on their hoofs, that the white line right here becomes stretched and separated due to more moisture, too much moisture, or maybe due to some stresses with the way that they move, or maybe they foundered once. Well, anyways, that white line and the lamini in there get stretched, and it allows fungus to get in there. So this one is a good antifungal, and you would just take the area that's infected and you would put a thin layer on there and then cover it with gauze and try to keep it clean. I've also used the Thrush Red and the Thrush Buster because they have the violet gentian in it. It is an antifungal, so you could maybe have success with that with the white line also. There's a lot of different funguses that cause it. Some of them are very hard to treat. Some other things you could do to help your horse's hoof health as we come into spring here, or maybe in the summer, this would be more of an issue when things get really hot and dry. You could use some different conditioners that you would just apply. These have a built-in brush, but you would just take the hoof brush and you would brush it on the bottom of your horse's hoof, and then you would brush it on the outside, making sure that you get up into the coronary band so that you can promote healthy hoof growth. I have used both the Rainmaker and the Horseshoer Secret with success. This one, the Wonder Hoof, I can't say for sure. I haven't used it, but it sounds like it could be one to try too. These are nice because they have a brush on them. The other thing you might need to do when it's really, really wet is worry about sealing moisture out of your horse's hoof. If you get really soft, mushy hooves, you might need to look at doing something like the Tough Stuff, which is a hoof hardener, or the one that I really like, which is the Keratex Hoof Gel. So this is going to seal the moisture that's in the hoof in, but prevent too much moisture from crossing into the hoof and making it mushy and soft. If you have a horse that tends to be really tender-footed and has a tender sole, you could use the Keratex Hoof Hardener. I've also had really good luck painting this on the bottom of horses' feet. If they're kind of thin-soled and tender-footed after a trim, you could use that to help get them through that period until it gets a little, their feet toughen up and get more calloused again. If you have a horse that's maybe a really strong athlete, or you know, and you are worried about their hooves being sore even after like a long trail ride, like a whole weekend, like 8-hour trail ride, you could pack their feet with the magic cushion, which will take care of some inflammation in their feet, and then will reduce the pain in their feet. This product you would just pack into the bottom of their foot, about a 1/2 inch thick, and then you put a layer of paper or sawdust on that, and then you leave it on for 24 hours, and then you can take it off. So if you guys have any questions or any other comments, or have other products that you guys like to use for certain hoof ailments, please leave a message for us in the comments. All right, thanks.